Hello and welcome to MtG. My name is Vyacheslav and today I show you black and white control deck for Premodern format. I must tell you that I'm not a really experienced player with this deck, but I play some games on online events, some games just online and with my wife. I have a even mirror experience and it was not so fun, to be honest. So I think I can tell you about how deck works. Yeah. First time I see this deck, I also read the comment in Facebook, I think, about it's playable that Gael. So I must be slightly triggered, like that Gael fun. But after some time I can say that I really like this deck. It has some problems, like it's control deck without control magic, but fine anyway. So let's start from main game plan. It's really simple. It's control deck without blue. So don't control spells, just kill creatures, disturb your opponent's hand by discard spells, and then put big threat and win the game by some attacks, like 3 or 4. Simple plan, but it's actually work like any simple plan. Deck have really good late game cards like Dragon, Angel or Skeletal Scrying to draw a lot of cards, but also sometimes you can have problems in late game. It's a rare case, but sometimes you can draw your discard spells in the late game when your opponent have not cards and play from top deck. And you know, your opponent will play from top deck treats, you draw discard spells, so you can't play them from top deck, or can, but without any good profit. It's a problem. And also a problem of discard cards counter magic, you know, counter spells, so your opponent need to pay a resource for play spell. And discard don't counter it. You remove cards from opponent's hand, so opponent will not spend the resources. And sometimes you with your not target discard spells will not actually break the opponent game plan. But it's a rare case. Mostly we will break game plan by our discard stuff. So now I show you my version of the deck and tell about some cards and tricks one by one, and then show other stuff. Let's go! So now I show you some important cards for the deck. Let's start from like stuff that we will use in that Gael too. Yeah. Of course it will be the playset of Swords to Plowshares. It's I think best white removal spell. For 1 mana exile any creature. Sometimes you can use it as you know, safety trick. You can exile your own creature to gain lives. Yeah. And some players forget about this, so I tell it. Duress. Gift card. For 1 black mana discard any non-creature, non-land spell. In Premodern we have a lot of popular non-creature, non-land spells, so most of the time you can find the target of this card. It's, I think, best play for first turn, because you don't need to know any information about your opponent. Sometimes, of course, your opponent can have the lands or creatures in hand, but mostly at least one spell you will find. One more discard spell here is a Geralt's Verdict. For 2 mana, black and white, discard 2 cards from target player hand. That's important. For each land you will gain 3 lives, and it's again not only discard spell but also can be your safe trick. When you have not so many lives but have lands in hand, you can top deck Verdict, play it to yourself, discard 2 lands, gain 6 lives. 6 life for 3 cards not good, but it's option. Yeah. One more important black and white card for format is Vindicate. For 3 mana destroy permanent. It's great fact. And in this deck, like in that Gael, you have a good plan for first turn. So just look into opponent hand by Duras. When you discard 2 more cards, sometimes your opponent will show you information about extra cards you draw. And when you can play your Vindicate, you can choose destroy opponent creature if you play it, or destroy land. Destroy land of what color you need. And maybe it's a good way to save Vindicate. So with this information, you can use your Vindicate as land destruction, as removal. And it's just good removal from top deck at any moment of the game. And one more card, it's Exalted Angel. It's played in a lot of white decks, and it's really one of the best creatures in formats, I think, for 6 mana, or for 3 with morph and 4/4 morph. It's a 4/5 creature that have lifelink-like abilities and flying. Flying help you to, you know, go to attack without blocks, because not any creature in Magic flying. And lifelink give you lives, but it's not lifelink actually. You need to remember about this. It's a triggered ability. So if your opponent attack you with 2 1/1 creatures, you have 1 life, and you block with Angel, you will die before the trigger resolves. It's really important part. So maybe it's better to sword your Angel to save yourself in this situation. no, it's better to sword the 1/1 creature, of course. Next part of the cards, it's like cards that make this deck the control deck. Yeah, not that guy, that guy have a lot of creatures. Here we have the Skeletal Scrying. And it's also playable in not so control decks, but it's really good late game plan. After you sword, discard, use a lot of your removal to kill creatures, pay 5 or 6 mana to draw a lot of cards on instant speed. It's great. You will refill your hand and you'll kill creatures one more time. Fine. Of course, we also got, because it's fine to kill creature by sword, but sometimes it's better to kill not one creature by one card. Yeah, 1/1 it's not great trade for control deck. We want to trade 1/3, 1/2. Yeah, stuff like this. And we also got how to do it. You can also see playset of Decree of Justice here. It's a fine card, really fine. You can use it against land steal control deck, yeah, because you can not play spell but just put soldiers into play for 3 mana, and Dix you will play on the instant speed some number of soldiers and also draw a card. But don't forget that you can play this card for cost 2. In this deck you will have a lot of lands on the battlefield, so you just can put a lot of 4/4 angels in some late game. It can be good against a lot of decks. And of course, it's like really important card in the deck, Eternal Dragon. It's specific of black-white control, I think, because without this card you can use some extra options for control, but it's very important. For 7 mana, 5/5 flying, not sounds good, right? But for slow control deck it's okay. And it's more important that this card have land cycling, planes cycling. So for 2 mana you can find planes into your hand. And then for 5 mana, at the upkeep you can return dragon to your hand. It's good for us. If you have not cards in hand or have some cheap instant speed spell, we can return dragon, find 1 more planes, or even cast him and go to finish part of the game. One more popular main card in this deck is Phyrexian Furnace. It's cool. It's Grave Hate for 1 mana, can remove card by card entire graveyard, can remove target card, so prevent some reanimation spells, and also when it removes target card, it will draw your card. So it can be just a free cycling spell to draw 1 card. It's fine. Last one card, it's my touch that I like, Death Grasp. It's black and white and deals X points of damage to target creature or player, and you gain X lives. It can finish the game, it can be used like removal, but maybe it's not best decision, to be honest. In main deck I seen so many people also use Disenchant, and cards like I seen in Mirror Match, the Haunting Echoes. Sadly I have not this card in my hand, I have it in the mail only. It's exile cards in your graveyard and exile all copies of this card from your library. In Mirror Match or in match against any control deck, it can be really win con. In Mirror especially, because in Mirror we have no discard, so top deck Haunting Echoes, play it, exile any win cons, any dragons, any removal spells from your opponent deck. It can be powerful. And also it's one more trick for your scrying, because when your opponent play Haunting Echoes, you not only lose lives, you also exile cards from your graveyard, so you can protect yourself against Echoes. Can be fine. Next part of my deck is lands, and here I have some non-popular decisions. I'll tell you. I have 2 Wastelands, a really good land destruction spell, but most of players that use black and white control don't use Wastelands. Instead they use Dust Bowl. In this deck it's even better, because you don't skip land drops, you find lands by dragon each turn, so for you it's more important not to destroy land fast, but destroy land not 1/1, yeah. With Dust Bowl you can destroy a lot of lands in your opponent's battlefield with just 1 copy of Dust Bowl. Wasteland destroy only 1 land. So think about, and Dust Bowl more popular decision, but I like Wasteland. Sorry. I also use in my deck 3 copies of Mishra's Factory. I just like Factory as an old school player, and it's good against land steal, and just fine to have more win cons. I like to have more win cons, but mostly players don't use Factory. They use more, stabilization, color stabilization, because they have a lot of 2 color spells like Vindicator, Verdict. My version of deck have only Caves of Coils as dual land or stabilization. I think it's fine. I have not really big mana-based problems, you know. But in most of decks I also see 2 or 3 copies of Reflecting Pool. Mostly they used instead of factories. Reflecting Pool give you a mana of a color that land you control had products, so if you have the Caves of Coils you can use Reflecting Pool to gain black and white. And of course deck have some basic lands, swamps, plains for some basic stabilization. Basic lands for basic stabilization. In my sideboard I have more Furnace for Exile Graveyard, 1 copy of Powder Keg. It's a fine removal against some tokens or some decks with cheap creatures. Circle of Protection red against red decks, prevent damage from them. Disenchants, maybe Disenchants to destroy its factor enchantment on instant speed. Maybe in some cases better to use Seal of Cleansing. I'm not sure. I like Disenchant more. Edict. It's help you against creatures with protection from white maybe, and against some just big creatures. It's help to kill their node fast. 3 copies of Plug against tribal decks like Goblin or Elves again, and Perish, 1 more copy of Wrath of God. Perish help against Elves, against the Rock, because the Rock have most of their good creatures as green, and I think Madness have a lot of green effective creatures too. I'm pretty sure that blue Madness creatures are not dangerous, so it's really popular there. Also 1 more fine option for this sideboard stuff like Plaga or Couplet. It's Enlightened Tutor, but it's not popular in this deck because you have not so many card advantage instruments. You have only 3 Skeletal Grinds, so maybe it's not a good idea to lose 1 card for just make it top deck better. I'll already tell you about some cards that I have not but want to use, and now just tell about some extra checks for sideboard. It's of course Worms, the good way to counter red color, 1 more. Sometimes it's better than Circle of Protection red because it can give you more lives. But against cards like Bull Lightning it's not so cool. So I prefer Circle of Protection anyway. 1 more interest card is Infest. It's like 3 mana mass removal for decks like Goblins or Elves. It can destroy a lot of little creatures on the battlefield, just on 3 mana and black, so it's fine. And also, I don't tell you, but our Phyrexian Furnace not Greed Grave Hate. It can exile target card, can exile card by card slowly, but can't exile entire graveyard in 1 moment. Sometimes it's important. So you also can use Tormod Script. For 1 mana, exile entire graveyard. Fine effect. So it was black and white control deck for Premodern format. Thank you for watching up to the end. If you like this video, please support me by leaving a comment, press a like button, subscribe to my channel, or support me by some way that you can find in the description of the video. Thank you again, have a nice day, have a nice games. See you, bye!